This podcast was created on the lands of the Ngunnawal people, the Wurundjeri people, and Ngāti Pawa. We acknowledge the contributions of Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander, and Maori people to making rugby league the greatest game of all.
You're listening to NRL Hellmouth, the podcast where we open up a portal to the rugby league realm to see what horrors and delights we can unearth. Your friend Simon here, and with the winter solstice now behind us, I'm delighted to be here once again with two members of the Order of Rugby League Druids. Daniel, James, hello to you both.
Yes, pulling back my head cloak to reveal a very big smile. A great week of league. Was lucky enough to go to a game, and my daughter suggested, why don't they tickle in rugby league? Well, she wondered if it was against the rules. So just give that some thought.
Great
this
question.
Episode.
Great question.
Yeah. You had like 4 days to find out if they can tickle. Now we have to wait a whole week to reveal it.
It's true. But being easy like his hats to you both.
Thank you, Dan.
And James, how are you?
I'm good. I'm inquisitive and impatient as usual.
Well, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Coming up, we've got some more NRL TV spin-offs to pitch, and Dan will be doing a roundup of the best social media posts from clubs. But there's an awful lot to talk about before then, so let's open it up and raise some hell.
There's the kickoff. Let the party begin.
Like, I undeservedly apologise to everyone for my actions.
I didn't intend to disrespect anybody, and I definitely didn't do it on the car.
Well, I've been watching the Seagulls, and not one of them is eating.
This is a horror movie. Rugby league. What else can this grand final provide?
Does it get stacked live on television?
Stop it, it's starting to hurt.
Now, we had another relatively sane round of scores last weekend, despite the absence of any tickling in the tackle. Pretty respectable average winning margin of just 11 points. Just one game with a margin over 20 and even a couple of golden pointers.
Yes.
Probably not a coincidence that the average number of six agains called per game was just 4.6, down from a high of more than 12 earlier in the season.
That is interesting.
Yes.
Not a coincidence also that the 38 or so best players in the game had already played a few days before, so a bit of the sting had been taken out of the attack and defence. And in the biggest upset of the round, obviously Titans-Panthers, Panthers did, as we suggested, left a few of their better players off the pitch. But that's what it can do to the comp. If you just remove the best players, it's a beautiful round.
Let's go.
What has come to light, though, is that the Dolphins, the dark flipper of the competition, if you will, seem to be firming up as a real deal top four team now.
Yeah.
Consistent, playing good, entertaining football. And showing the rest of the Queensland teams how to do it.
Absolutely. And, I mean, they had their murky period at the start of the season, like so many. I think they had a run of 4 losses on the trot. But I think, have they strung together 7 now? And playing some very good football. So, it's exciting to see a team like that becoming a bona fide contender.
Yeah, in third place on the ladder. And I think the Dolphins are a classic everybody's second team type of squad. So,
until they start winning. That's sort of what happened with the Panthers. Remember, everyone used to love them until they became really extremely unbeatable.
Hey, speaking of the Panthers, that the very exciting Titans-Panthers game was made even more exciting by having the most colourful possible jersey combination available to the NRL.
Oh, yeah,
which was the Titans throwback Chargers strip with the, what is it, turquoise?
Topaz, perhaps.
Topaz, thank you, Daniel. The topaz against the pink Panthers. Beautiful to see. Yeah. They look like Japanese rugby or something. I loved it.
A rainbow of diversity for the modern game, which is what we like to see.
Yes, indeed. Not for everyone.
Not for everybody, which we might cover later in the show.
Anyway, good to start off with a bit of a positive view on the round, and let's hope we get another one this week.
Isn't that nice?
I was actually at the Melbourne Storm game, as I mentioned, with my daughter. There was a very nice moment where they had the past players taking the field before the game, and to where Nickau spoke on mic to the stadium, and he was talking about the support for greater awareness of men's health. Of course, the Storm were launching their Tackle Tough Together campaign, which was a partnership with Beyond Blue, and he told everyone at the ground how the past players had been together for the weekend doing some workshops. They had stroke checks, and they'd all had prostate checks. which I thought was a really good sign of the times. I know things are sort of trending downwards in other respects, but good when a bunch of men in there ranging between 40 to 60s in age can all stand at a sports stadium and tell everyone they've returned from a wellness weekend that involved a group prostate check. So
wow.
I think, we're moving in the right direction. And then they also had a bit of a check-in where everyone at the stadium was invited to talk to the person next to them to talk about their mental health. So a good initiative down there, and it provided a good vibe. Although maybe that's why the crowd was so subdued at the start of the game, and we allowed the Raiders to get 16 points on the Storm before the game.
Rugby
really
league is not a good
started.
game for reflection.
No, it's
during play.
But it's
the last thing you want to do is reflect on anything during play, correct?
Yeah. I thought it was ambitious before a game as well, given the crowd. You just want to think about positives at that stage before Thunderstruck rings around the Amy Park Stadium. Hey, I'm all for it still. And, the Storm eventually got their engine going and ended up after 16-0, ended up putting 42-4 on the Raiders. So
we weren't going to mention the score, Dan.
Sorry
I think
about
we spoke
that,
about that because I want to get Simon offside in the first 5 minutes of the
Well,
podcast. That is a fact. That is
the miracle of rugby
objective
league.
truth. Yeah.
Where was my mental health support when after that game? That's when I needed it. Bloody hell!
I thought you were getting your chakras reviewed down at a Balinese retreat at that stage. So I thought you were well in hand.
That's true, yeah. A lot of crying in the fetal position at the men's circle, and I'm right to go for another round.
Instead of me tomorrow saying what I think and then getting abused by everybody in regards to my unsportsmanship manner, you write what you think. Okay, well, write it.
Now, the knives are well and truly out for New South Wales coach Laurie Daly after that rather embarrassing second-half performance from the Blues last week. And I think in situations like this, the fans rely on the expertise of the rugby league media to really get to the bottom of what's going on. Thankfully, Channel 9 journo Danny Weidler has come to the rescue, commenting on reports that Laurie's pre-game speeches weren't inspirational and had been putting the Blues players to sleep. I assume that's, metaphorically speaking. Weidler proposed that the reason for that was that Daly was suffering from, wait for it, a middle ear infection. Apparently he was talking more quietly than usual and wasn't able to hit the Churchillian tones that players expect from a pre-origin rev-up. So, this is the kind of hard-hitting investigative in journalism we love, isn't it?
Yeah. Can I just confirm, it's unconfirmed as to whether there was a middle ear infection. So this is just a stab in the dark?
I assume Danny has his sources, which may be Laurie himself. So, look, it's probably fairly confident we can say yes, maybe Laurie had a middle ear infection, but whether that was the reason for the loss, I think is a longer bow.
I hope there was a conversation that took place somewhere in the world where Danny called up Daly and said, mate, I'm going to run a story tomorrow. I'm going to suggest that you had a middle ear infection. Do you want to go on the record to make a statement, or are you comfortable with this? I'm going to run it regardless.
Yeah, Daly would have been, what? I can't hear you, Daddy. I've got a middle ear infection. But ear infections are no joke. They're quite unpleasant,
boy.
But I've had them before, and generally I think it makes you talk louder than usual because you're kind of half deaf. So if anything, I would have thought it would have got him, more fired up.
Oh, let's get the listeners weighing in on this one. Hellmates at nrlhellmouth.com. How do you respond to a middle ear infection?
So I don't know. Do you think this medical exemption will spare Daly the axe if he loses game 3? In a couple of weeks' time?
No, I think he needs to win game 3 or he will self-axe and probably go to Perth or something and hang out with Mal.
No, yeah. Get the old gang back together.
Yeah.
It was a good old game, though, that Origin game 2, especially from a Queensland fan's point of view.
Yeah.
Seemed to be genuine atmosphere there, and certainly the Queensland team made the New South Wales team maybe think that they got away with one in game 1 and might be shaking in their boots for game 3 on Queensland soil.
I think it's going to be a good game because I believe that Billy Slater is suffering from mild constipation. So I think those two minor medical issues might cancel each other out in the coach's box.
It's interesting to consider what actually is the cutting edge, if that makes sense, of a win or loss in Origin. So Weidler's hypothesis is that the middle ear infection caused Laurie Daly not to give the best possible pre-game speech and engage with players and whatnot. And then my own theory is that you need a dacking to really spark the team or to spark the inspiration. And we saw that in game 1 where Tedesco was dacked and a few minutes later he scored the winning try. And then we saw it again in this particular game, and I was very excited. I sent you the photo of the arse when it happened of Kalen Ponga, full moon dack.
Yeah, so no 1.5 cheeks this time.
No,
it
was a beautiful peach, and it was pretty clear that he hadn't been skinny dipping any time lately, if you know what I mean.
few tan lines.
Yeah.
Is that all we're talking about?
Yeah. And then a few seconds later, a brilliant little Selwyn Cobbo try that then, from that point on, basically Queensland was unstoppable. So I am going down to my own theory. You haven't seen it in the papers. You haven't seen it in real rugby league media, only in independent rugby league media, that you need a moon to spark an Origin win. And let's hope in game 3, this theory is either proven or put to bed, because currently it's looking 1 from 1, moon for moon.
Yeah, every moon has produced a win so far.
Yeah,
so
every
it's just
fullback that has been dacked, their team has won an Origin this season. That is the stat.
It's pretty simple, really.
Yeah.
Pull down the pants, raise the trophy.
Yeah. The only other thing we could potentially do is try and get Billy Sater an ear infection for game 3, and then we've got another data point. But that would make things difficult if he had an ear infection and Kalen Ponga got mooned and they lost all one, and then, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe just the solution is just dack everyone pre-game. Like maybe during the anthem when they're all standing there, just get a couple of the ball boys can just run behind and pull everybody's pants. Oh yeah, okay. Someone of age.
Have the touch judge. The touch judge.
The touchies can go, and then that way it's done. It's out of the way. Any more dackings cancel each other out.
Yeah.
We can just get on with the game and see who's the best.
Good point.
What absolute madness.
Well, it might be madness, but I've enjoyed it, and I hope the viewer has as well.
That's because you're mad.
What?
You're mad.
That's a lovely way to go to a break.
So the Perth Bears are taking a new approach to their flagging recruitment efforts by turning to Africa. And they've got a big-name ambassador for it. Former Wallabies great David Campese will be joining the club's recruitment team to help establish a player pathway between South African Rugby Union and the Bears.
The god of the goose step.
That's right. I assume, I think he's good mates with Mal from back in the Queanbeyan days.
Oh, yes,
but
of course.
First of all, let's address the African elephant in the room, which is that David Campese seems to be a bit of a nut these days.
Is that right?
I had a quick look at his LinkedIn, and he's a big share of, what shall we say, conspiracy boomer bait.
I see.
Highlights include bashing 9 newspapers for their, quote, relentless pursuit of Ben Roberts-Smith.
Oh, another one of our culture war targets.
One of our many culture war.
Didn't learn our lesson from. Fantastic.
That's
cool.
Yeah. So relentless pursuit of Ben Roberts-Smith by Channel 9, I assume, relates to the fact that Ben Roberts-Smith chose to bring a defamation action against 9, in which the judge determined that he had, on the balance of probabilities, committed war crimes. Campo also shared a fascinating post about Bill Gates allegedly releasing genetically engineered ticks into the wild. Now, I'm not sure about this. It seems to be linked to a conspiracy that Gates is trying to make people allergic to red meat through tick bites in order to bump up the value of his portfolio of investments in plant-based products. So,
okay,
should be an interesting character to have on the Zoom calls with the rest of the Bears corporate team.
I'll just slide a few links over to you boys.
Yeah,
have a bit of literature.
I'm worried now that we're sending Laurie Daly up to Perth. Actually, Simon, I regret that comment. I think he might need to go to PNG if he loses the New South Wales role. Yeah.
But it is an interesting one. I mean, I think we've all known people of David's generation who have, not been particularly thorough with checking the sources of their research.
I think
shared online.
Whenever you get anyone probably in a rugby league club, one of the first questions you ask is, are they mad? And mad, as per our little sing that we've got there. And you do need people that are mad in your inner sanctum. But potentially whoever was vetting that did not have the proper rugby league definition of mad, which is more like run into a brick wall, a little bit loose.
A loose unit.
Yeah, a loose unit. Whereas they're like, oh yeah, he's batshit crazy. Don't worry about that. You don't have to worry about that. The stuff that he's into, believe me, he's going to be great in your recruitment. And then all these young lads from South Africa will come across that are black-pilled, deep into conspiracy. I tell you what, we're Big Bears supporters, but they're making it very difficult for us to get around them with some of their choices.
I do sense the media is sort of reveling in the pylon a little bit. I think as soon as the Chiefs made those two key signings and it was seen that the Bears hadn't really made a marquee signing to the same scale of PNG that was starting a year later, they have seemed like a pretty easy target. But, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah. And Camco aside, having a recruitment manager focused on South Africa is a great idea.
Yeah.
If they can poach players who are well trained and from good systems and bring them over from South Africa to Perth, and that's not a bad idea. It just might be they could have chosen someone else.
Yeah, there is a large South African community in Perth as well already, so that might be a bit of a carrot for potential players.
Yeah.
And this idea of rating South Africa's got the support of Peter V'landys, who's, thinks it'll get more people in South Africa watch NRL, and I think it's also partly to do with the overall loss of interest in Union as that game sinks deeper into stupefying boredom, as I think we've seen in New Zealand over the past few years with the rise of the Wars and perhaps less people watching rugby. So I think it is an interesting concept for recruitment. And it'd be great to get more South African accents into the mix for post-player interviews, wouldn't it?
Be awesome.
I love the Bears. I do. I love being a big bear. Big cuddly one, though. Not the big bear, the big cuddly one. There's a place for rugby league and there's a place for the Perth Bears.
Okay, it's time to wade back into the culture wars and talk about Israel Folau again. First of all, just like to give a shout out to the many Folau supporters who have commented on our recent social media posts about Izzy with their extremely well thought out critiques of our podcast, as well as a lot of critiques of our appearances, which seems to be of great interest to that crowd, doesn't it?
So we posted the first clip from a couple of episodes ago, and the criticism began just on the TikTok, and criticism started more with a religious angle. And then it moved into the thoroughbred homophobes and I think self-described alphas. We were being accused of, we had blasphemy, called racist. We were accused of not being as good as Folau or even as good at rugby league. That's absolutely correct.
Accept that, yes.
But they could say it nicer. They told us we had a bad podcast. It's probably accurate. People claimed they claimed to know our sexualities. They often said that people should raise the price of podcast equipment.
That was funny. I liked that one. That's the only one I read. I thought that was quite funny.
It's a fair point. Look, the bar to entry is far too low.
Yeah. I mean, generally speaking, notwithstanding the topic, the actual opinions are correct. I mean, and it could have come from many of our clips, so there's no issue there.
That's right. Could come from many of our supporters.
But, it's like they were trying to be deliberately mean.
It's almost like these algorithms purposely stoke outrage and division on social media.
Definitely what seemed to happen. So we had a lot of views early, but not a lot of comments. And we had actually a lot of support early on. I should point out we did have a lot of support to what we said as well, and lots of likes, but they seemed to dry up as the comments got more intense. And it seemed that TikTok in particular had steered us into a murky algorithmic swamp, which is where I think we were found by our critic. So we had the rather enjoyable experience of having, I don't know, is there a term for this, Simon? Someone who takes a clip
let's
and
just
does
call it a good old-fashioned pylon.
A pylon. But anyway, our critic who, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say something about his appearance. It seems to be the way that it goes.
Yeah, that's just what happens.
Well, he mentioned that we were unattractive, I think,
Several times.
4 times.
Yeah.
He seemed to know everything about our lives. He knew about all of our lack of achievements, lack of sacrifices. And I just wanted to state on the record that we were not approached by researchers of his team and have not yet supplied a full curriculum vitae.
We have not been approached for comment.
He said, let me know in the comments. Would you actually watch these 3? And so I haven't looked into the comments zone. I think you went there. What are we, 50-50?
No, none of them want to watch us. No.
Yeah.
A lot of people calling us cucks and pedos.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, to those people I say, once you've finished criticising our appearance, then please do watch our very well received Lord of the Rings Middle Earth 13 reel from a couple of weeks ago, because everybody seemed to really enjoy that one.
Yeah, it got 4 times as many views as well as this clip.
And then get into the Ben Roberts-Smith clip, which I think you'll love, and give us your view on that. Maybe share that with some other people. Hey, one thing I do want to say, just because I haven't reflected on any of the content really, but I've watched enough of where Izzy is at, Israel is at now, and what he's trying to achieve and whatnot. And the interesting thing I've found is that his firing from Rugby Australia and the shunning, I suppose, of other sports within Australia to sign him has become a huge motivator for his story and his narrative and whatever he's done in future. And the original post, and I apologise, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was making the analogy that rugby league players throughout history, which is entirely correct, have done a range of awful things and then been allowed back in the game. But what they have done most of the time, all of the time actually, is actually apologised for what they did.
Yeah.
And Izzy, I shouldn't say Izzy because it's Israel, never really apologised. Ever.
No.
And he in fact just doubled down on everything, which puts him in a corner. If he really wanted to play again, he could have said, yeah, I'm sorry. And he said something about gay people to temper, I suppose, what his initial comments were, which is that unless they repent, they will go to hell, which is objectively a fairly unpalatable thing to be putting out.
Fairly awful thing to
for
say,
somebody in the national team. But he never stood back from that. And in all his current narrative is around that he's being persecuted for quoting a Bible verse or whatever. And that's actually 100% not true. And the Bible quotes he quoted, he interpreted that to mean homosexuality. It's not even mentioned in that.
Yeah.
It's a real fringe view.
It is.
And if you actually go back and you look at everything that Israel was saying at that time and posting, it wasn't just that one comment. It was other posts around that at the same time that was making it untenable for the Wallabies. And if he just got out and say, listen, I've got my personal views, I'm going to shut up about it, I'm really sorry, I support everyone to live a powerful and positive life, blah, 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 then he would still be playing if he wanted to now. But he is unable to do that because I think it conflicts with his beliefs and whatnot. So,
I think you're absolutely right, is that he holds these views internally, but he made these comments externally and he, as he said, doubled down.
Yeah.
But the crux of the matter here is that we all decide how we want to react to what Israel has said, and the many factors that we sort of have on board in our lives inform that reaction, right? Now, individually, I don't think I'm going to hell because at this stage I don't have enough evidence to conclusively believe that there is a hell. It doesn't impact me individually. Socially, however, is it important to someone else? And I would say that there are gay Christians out there that this is very important to, very distressing to. But we all decide whether or not we respect that person's distress. And, well, to borrow an argument that was made from the opposing point of view, what if Israel said that all left-handed people are going to hell? We all know, or we can all think of left-handed Christians out there, and that seems like a tough stance to make, and we would all sort of be compassionate to their cause. And I think it maybe comes back to that root problem that whether people believe that LGBTQI plus communities are there because it's a choice or not, and whether we respect those people's lives.
Yeah.
And I think that's why woke agendas, dare I say, and initiatives are really important because they help inform people and they help create conversations.
Yeah.
And I think we've had enough years going on where people have sort of forgotten, we don't have that same sort of connection to those initiatives, or at least to that movement and to that understanding of what he did that actually impacted real people. We just think it was a kind of a window dressing exercise by the NRL that maybe doesn't have validity anymore.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, the most unfortunate part about it. We saw Corey Parker on SEN League or something like that. He likened it to players that have had issues with domestic violence or alcohol or drink driving and things like that. But as you said, like, it's not something that he has changed from. He hasn't gone through rehab. He hasn't changed his opinions.
He did actually, as part of his legal settlement with Rugby Australia, he did actually put, I think as a condition of that, put out a statement saying something along the lines of he acknowledged that his comments were hurtful to some people, but he did not say that he did not actually apologise for the comments.
He didn't clarify
or walk them back.
that he did not piss on a car, so to speak.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. His wife Maria has also come out during the week to again push the point that other players have done worse things, which is a fair point. But
it's a different argument. Like, it is a different argument.
It definitely is.
The double standards of the league is definitely something that is worthy of review. And maybe we should delist Cameron Munster because he dacked a trainer during a post-game interview. But these are separate debates.
Exactly. And Izzy has doubled down on that by saying that the double standard from the NRL is crazy. The game talks about inclusion, yet my Christian beliefs were said to be a problem and didn't align with their values, which is once again setting up a bit of a straw man argument because, he's not being blocked because he's got Christian beliefs. It's because he's expressed bigoted views that are out of touch with most people's values in the modern world.
It is a complex debate.
But anyway, apparently Izzy is considering taking court action against the Australian Rugby League Commission now for restraint of trade, which seems a bit weird because apparently he was only going to be offered a trade and trial deal by the Tigers, not a full contract. And I think these kind of arrangements are usually kind of low 5-figure ranges, no guarantee of playing actual first grade. So I feel like it would be a tough case to prove that he's sort of lost significant money out of this, and any legal costs would far outweigh the income from a train and trial deal. Yeah.
But I think James is right. There does seem to be a narrative arc at play here, which may be this kind of divine quest, and that he'll be returning, and it's more the vindication rather than the player's contract. So it is an interesting one to watch.
And also, thank you, listeners, because this is probably not going to be a social clip this week. It's deep in the podcast, so it's only really for the OGs.
I told Simon the only culture wars we're going near in the next few weeks are your battles with your various ferments.
If you're the type of loser to go watch these three and take their advice, you should reevaluate your life and maybe uppercut yourself.
An exciting week in club socials. No, in fact, it's not an exciting week. In fact, the good thing about club socials is that when you go to see what they're doing, you get a first-hand appreciation of the grind that is a social media team that is constantly trying to find innovative content from mid-season blues. And what you see a lot of at this stage of the season, and in fact something that's very popular and I dare say has been borrowed from American codes, is the post or pre-training hallway walk-by, where you set up a camera in a hallway, and underneath the camera, I'm guessing there's an iPad or a sign that says, poses a question to the players as they walk past. So it's nice, low energy, great content, because we get doozies, like the Eels, who asked, "Do you speak Spanish?" The Storm posed the question, describe Munster in one word. Of course, it was his 250th game during the week. The Panthers asked, "Who is your favourite Toy Story character?" Manly asked, "Which teammate would survive the longest in the wild?" And they also asked, "What sound does a nail gun make?" And that was actually pretty good.
Wow.
The Sharks also did one of those, don't know if you've ever seen the ones where they get players to put their hands into a box that we can see from the camera's point of view.
No, was that this week? I got to go and watch it. I love that one.
Check it out. So they had one of these sort of soft, stretchy green kind of latex toys that little kids have. But of course, they bring big men undone and they giggle like little kids.
Did they do the thing, Dan, where they put a player's head in the box too, like one of the funny ones?
No, not quite the fear factor aspect. No, this was
I love it when
very
they do
lightweight.
That.
This was definitely a nice little home job set up on the desk. It was pretty
would be
simple.
nice to be licked by Nico Hines or something, hey, as the gag.
The gag, yeah, that would be pretty good. Probably my favourite video for the week was the Eels had a lovely video of a person doing line markings on the field. They were doing freehand numbers and letters, and they were doing Mitchell Moses' 250th, so they had the words Moses 250 that they drew freehand, had some great drone angles on that, so I'd recommend checking that out if you love the beauty of line markings and sign writing on grounds. Then the next one, I've got actually, I'll play it in the background for you. So what you're listening to at the moment is the North Queensland Cowboys had a charming little piece, which was an ASMR, what does that stand for, Simon and James? Basically close-up audio.
Yeah. It's non-sexual, but it's also kind of sexual, I think.
Yes, I think there's definitely something going on. Anyway, ASMR of various close-up sounds, clicks, scrapes, windows, as you hear in the background there, around the big car make of their major sponsor. And they even had Cohen Hess kissing the front bumper bar. So I really liked that. That was a very creative response.
Hey, Dan, have you seen the Brian To'o ASMR video that the Panthers did a couple of months back? It's pretty cool. It's like you hear like opening the 10 Coke Zero cans and the downing of the hamburgers and going to the toilet afterwards. It's really good. Hunt that down, listeners. It was only up for a couple of hours, but gosh, it was good.
So they have a close-up mic on his digestive tract as it wears to war with
help me!
A river of slime.
And just when you think there's no more Coke Zero to drink, another one opens up. Really good stuff. Sorry, back to you, Dan.
Oh, one for the kinks out there. The Dolphins had I really like this one, AI-enhanced images of the team with comical facial hair, which was inspired by their major sponsor, or as they say, their official grooming partner. But it was quite hilarious. They had some players with like little chin strap beards, goatees, twirly moustaches. Cody Nikorima had a braided beard, and they even had the head coach, Dave Ellis, with a big sloppy moustache. But the final one I wanted to point out is that the Panthers and Raiders both fell victim to the away game #vibes posts. We spoke about this a lot. So #vibes posts where a team that is away for the weekend will sort of have a nice pre-game day where they'll all hang out somewhere in the host city, throwing balls around.
Wearing hats, a range of things shouldn't be doing
sloppy
pre-game.
joes. The Raiders were enjoying the urban alleyways of Melbourne, and the Panthers hitting up the beach in the Goldie, and we all know how those stories ended for those teams, so just be careful before you #vibes post next week. But that's my wrap of social interaction for the week.
That was just like a curated scroll where your descriptions of the slop were more interesting than experiencing it.
That's what
what
I
a
was
great
hoping.
innovation.
I'm hoping that people can just check this segment every now and then and save them the trouble of going through every single team's social media content because, I lost a few good hours of my life.
Be interesting to get some harder-hitting questions up for that one where the players come along to the iPad with the camera and answer a question on a paper. Things like, should Israel Folau be allowed back in the game, or Ben Roberts-Smith, hero or villain? Maybe a photo of us with, are these guys good-looking or pathetic, unattractive geeks?
Would you listen to content from these three losers?
What did he call it? The ALM?
No, FLA. What are they called?
FLA or something
Some
like that.
sport out of Victoria. I don't know what it is.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, we proposed a few NRL TV spin-offs that broadcasters and streamers might want to pitch to Peter V'landys to make their TV rights proposals more attractive. Since then, we've had the billionaire head of a multinational streaming video platform get in touch with us. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to say who at this stage, but, commercial in confidence. Let's just say his head looks a lot like an uncircumcised penis, and so do the rocket ships he builds. Anyway, this bloke's keen for a bit of the NRL dollar, and he loved the concept of the additional value-add TV programs, but he's not quite over the line yet. So I'd like to pitch a few more TV spin-off ideas for him to consider.
Please, yes.
Number 1, the Nanai. Cowboys' second rower Jeremiah Nanai becomes nanny to the children of a rich British widower. Also starring referee Chris Butler as Niles, the butler.
And, of course, we need that famous call, "Oh, Mr. Payton," as Jeremiah calls his head coach.
Full Haas. The catchphrases fly as superstar forward Payne Haas must raise 3 young daughters with the help of his hip brother-in-law and hilarious childhood best friend.
You won't hear me saying cut it out on that one. That is bona fide gold, Simon.
And then you have Jesse Arthurs as Uncle Jesse. And I can't even remember the cut it out guy. What's his name?
Uncle Joey. So you'd have Joey
it's Uncle Joey. Hold on. Who was Stamos?
Uncle Jesse was the hip, good-looking one. Yeah.
Oh, but Uncle Joey was not real uncle, right?
Yeah, I think maybe he wasn't the real uncle.
Joey. So that'd be Joey Johns.
Yeah.
And he is funny.
And he's Cooper Johns' actual uncle. So maybe Cooper could slot in as DJ or Michelle.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Love it. This should have been the whole episode. Casting Full House. I just have to stop you. There is an episode of this show where Matthew Johns comes as Uncle Joey's real brother. And he's funnier than Uncle Joey. And the whole episode is based that Uncle Joey's usually the funny one, but there's actually a funnier member of the family than him. And then then they have the lesson at the end of the show, though, where they have to sit down, and he kind of learns that just because he's not as funny, it doesn't mean that he's not loved and not funny.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah, that'd be really nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's the beautiful thing about Full House. It's a funny show, but yeah,
it's got a heart.
Everybody learns a lesson at the end. It's got heart.
But I can actually think of one guy down at Payne's new club at the Rabbitohs. I could see Brandon Smith playing an excellent Kimmy Gibbler. Green light for me, for sure.
All right.
We probably spoke too long about that, Simon.
Maybe.
It was too good. Keep going.
Next up.
Probably got 10 more.
Eel of Fortune. Josh Adokar hosts this game show in which contestants solve word puzzles to win cash and prizes, featuring Jonah Pezzett as the glamorous co-host who spins the letters around.
Oh, very nice. Every time there's a spin, Josh says, "Let's go!" Every single time.
And the only prizes you win are from Peter Wynn's Score shop in Parramatta.
It's a nice touch.
Yeah.
Next up, The X-Files. 2 FBI agents work to unravel a deep mystery. Why Michael Ennis can't pronounce the name Xavier.
So would that be a documentary or would that be a docudrama?
I think docudrama, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So
where each week they unravel a part of the larger mystery about why Ennis can only say Xavier.
Yeah.
Yes. And is each episode maybe a different Xavier in the league?
Yeah, that's
he
right.
gets through Savage in one episode and then he moves on to Coates for the next episode. I think we've got ourselves at least 2 seasons in there.
Harrowing moment where they realise that it's all because he watched the X-Men cartoon from the 90s, sitting down with his bowl
Professor
of Weet-Bix.
Xavier. Yeah.
Which I think in Australia is the first time that Xavier was ever mentioned within popular culture.
I think we should almost contact Michael just to find out if
Did
the first
you watch
Xavier...
that?
Did you watch this?
Were you deep into the Sentinels multi-part episode, Michael? On Cheese TV?
Did you have a thing for Storm?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Next up, Young Tallis time. Gordon Tallis hosts a weekly variety hour in which some of the NRL's best young talents sing and dance their way through the latest pop hits.
What would be more entertaining is if we had Gordon and all the players of his generation trying to do high-energy choreography, and it's just a lot of guys just propping around on the stage, just worrying about their backs.
You're just describing the golden era of the footy show there, Dan. The Secret Life of Gus. Phil Gould stars in this fresh, sexy Australian drama about a group of young people sharing an apartment block in St Kilda. It's appointment television as Gus laughs, loves and dreams his way through his late 20s and early 30s alongside housemates Freddie and Joey.
Oh, my goodness.
Because we know that Gus doesn't sleep. There'd be great episodes of him up at 3 a.m. wanting someone to talk to, particularly in the off-season.
Reno and Stimpy. Adam Reynolds plays a deranged chihuahua in this surreal animated show. Don't miss teammate Ezra Mamm's performance voicing the dim-witted Stimpy. Last one, Star Trek, Deep Space Klein. Referee Ashley Klein turns down a lucrative job with Racing New South Wales to instead command a space station in the Alpha Quadrant. Commander Klein must use all his on-field diplomacy skills to mediate a centuries-long dispute between the Cardassians and the Bajorans.
And I assume, Simon, you'd be leveraging the New South Wales-Queensland tension within the casting of those two alien races.
That's right, yeah.
And then, unfortunately, all the Kiwi players would be the Ferengi, right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. The kind of outcasts of the origin world.
I reckon with the SpaceX IPO, there might be other billionaires out there now, not even the known ones, that would have some spare cash that they've made in the last week or so that they could throw some of that shit against our wall and see what comes of it.
Yeah, well, we keep hearing the negotiations for the new NRL rights deal is going incredibly well. So get your money in quick, billionaires. We'll see if any of these get picked up.
This week in...
Something to start positively this week, for This Week in Hell. It is the 10th edition of the Beanie for Brain Cancer round.
We're actually doing our beanie round for middle ear infections.
We're doing bucket cap for middle ear infections. Okay. Next week, Dan. So you will be hosting that.
Oh, wonderful.
But it
I
is
didn't even realise.
the beanie side of things is coming up
Good.
this week for brain cancer. Support the Mark Hughes Foundation. As that foundation, through Mark, strives to actually find a cure for brain cancer within the next 10 years, which would be awesome.
Yeah, get behind it.
Back to only one team having a bye, which is good. That's the Sharks, so they'll get a bonus 2 points and can sit back and enjoy the FIFA World Cup that's happening now. Obviously, a big game tomorrow for the Socceroos in the middle of the day in Australia. And Dan did not tee up an opportunity for me to segue into something I wanted to say that we had pre-planned. But Dan mentioned earlier...
I did mention
on air...
On Cup Fever, I've been watching SBS's excellent coverage, and they've also got Cup Fever, which is Santo and Ed Cavalier, and they've brought back, as of last night, they brought back their NZ, their Kiwi commentators, which is Ed Cavalier in costume and Rob Sitch reprising one of his old late show personas, very much like Graham and the Colonel.
And the irony of that is that in New Zealand, you do not get New Zealand-based commentators calling the World Cup games. You get the pure FIFA feed of whatever FIFA stooges are calling the games. Do not, for example, mention that Iran is currently at war with US when they play and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, all the good stuff.
Yeah. So anyway,
that is interesting.
Isn't that interesting? Back to league.
Yes,
back
please.
to league now, boys. Biggest game of the round, on paper at least, is Dolphins versus Warriors. That's second versus third. And that is where the Dolphins will really be put to the test to see if they are a real deal top four side. And that is at the wonderful time at 3 o'clock on Saturday. So all the kiddies can get involved in watching that one. The other notable match is Spoon Bowl. Raiders 16th, Dragons 17th. It's not real Spoon Bowl because I think the Raiders are still quite ahead of the Dragons on paper, but it will be good to see at this stage now who is the worst team in the league.
Can't wait.
Very excited. Very excited for that. Cowboys-Panthers in Queensland. Panthers should have their full team back, so that'll be an interesting one to see where each of those teams are at. Another big one at Four Pines, Seagulls Storm, Battle of Brookvale, part 20 or something. Storm don't have Hughes. The Storm, when they've had their full spine playing since their losing streak, have not lost a game. The only game they've lost since that 7-game streak was when players were out for Origin. However, Hughes isn't playing this week. Seagulls are still doing pretty well, so that'll be a good one to watch. And then maybe one other one to call out is Broncos Roosters. Only because Broncos are trying to salvage their season.
They've got some players returning from injury, and it is a home game for them. They'll be striking the shoe. And the Roosters, they were great last week against the Sharks, but this will be the proper test once both these teams get their Origin players back. And the Broncos, I think, you're right. They definitely know that it's now or never.
So, league is back, baby.
Yeah,
We've turned the corner. Every match matters, and let's make every post a winner. This week in hell.
The foul play far outweighs the dickhead.
Alrighty, time to close up the Hellmouth for another week. Thank you very much for listening. Please give us a follow on your favourite social media networks. And while you're there, feel free to also share your thoughts on our appearance and what we have or haven't achieved in our lives. Now it's time for James's final thought.
Some people think middle ear infection's just for little kids. I don't know any adult that's had one really that hasn't been able to handle it in a very straightforward manner with some antibiotics and a couple of visits to the doctor, let alone someone that's got the fate of a state riding on his success and his ability to both communicate outwardly and listen to people. It might baffle you that this was even an issue or even anything that was raised by one of the nation's greatest rugby league newsbreakers, but here we are. If that isn't rugby league to a T, I don't know what is. No matter what your infection is this week, no matter what ailment you might have, I just hope that you get bitten by the bug of tries scored, tackles made, a very few 6 agains called, a mild amount of points that make you happy personally. Think about the best rugby league game you can imagine. That's what I hope for you this weekend. Ave Bill Gates! Put some of that tech money into our TV shows, Billy. Ave Billy Slater. Enjoy.
Stop it, it's starting to hurt.
And can I just say, Dan, and please don't cut this out, Daniel. I played a game of football 2 weeks ago, and I was defending against a South African man who had a rugby build, and I was very mean to him. Very, very mean. And I regretted it for days afterwards. So if you're listening to this podcast, friend, I apologise for what I said to you. You're not one of the worst people I've ever met. And actually, 2 days later, I found that I had a shard of glass stuck in my right foot that I pulled out, and I think that was affecting my mood. Thanks, Dan.
Okay.
He
was being a real shit, though, but I shouldn't have said what I said.
Oh, don't play soccer against James when he's got a middle ear infection either. Bloody hell.